Hey, Tamara and Terry, we're going live. Who do you want to do a shout out to?
Ooh, you go first.
Oh, I want to give a shout out to my dad
Hi, Dad.
who's in Florida watching the show right now. So thanks for tuning in, Dad.
Thanks for all the support. We love you.
Hey,
And
Tamara, who do you want to do a shout out to?
I want to give a shout out to Katie and John, who are our friends that have a photography studio, Ilios Photography, and all they've just been so supportive, and we love you guys.
Awesome. Dad, Katie, and John, here we go. Hey guys, we're talking with Tamara Cummings and Terry Phillips today. They specialize in designing efficient mobile living, practical modular setups, and creative outdoor spaces. Also, as solar nomads, their focus is on implementing renewable energy, eating organic, locally sourced food, and ridding themselves of plastic and petroleum-based products. Their main mission is to get the most out of life through an alternative lifestyle as full-time RV'ers, which I'm so excited to talk about. They're nature lovers, adventure seekers, and cultural creatives with a passion for solar power, treading lightly on the planet, and living a fun, simple, full life of adventure. Guys, I am so happy to have you here. How are you doing today?
Oh, so happy to be here. We feel so honored to get to just talk with you and share our story and be here on a funny way of looking.
So,
Yeah,
can I,
thank you so much for having us.
you are exciting me, even just like having you in the background. You're talking to you. I You are living a dream that so many people say. It's like I'm so tired of my corporate life. I'm tired of paying these bills, and
Yeah.
I want to get out and away. And you guys have done that. So I just want to know from the beginning, how did you start and say, you know what, I'm giving up all this apartment life, this house life, and we're going to live off the grid, kind of, and do the RV thing. Where'd you start?
We started when we met. We were both really interested in being more creative, but we were working all the time. We love to make music together. I've been a drummer, a hand drummer my whole life, and a dancer starting right around before we met. And Terry was writing songs and recording albums. That was his dream, to be a singer songwriter. But we were both pretty much feeling like we were on the hamster wheel of paying rent and going to work. And we had several jobs each and just feeling like we weren't really getting anywhere. And it came to we kind of came to this awareness that our most valuable resource is really our time. And the only way to get our time back at that point was to voluntarily step off of that hamster wheel. And we saw our rent as kind of the thing driving us and our bills to
Yeah.
stay in that space. And we came up with the idea to move into our station wagon with our dog, and we gave everything away. We sold and gave away everything, and recorded an album and hit the road.
Now, Terry, was this actually a thing that said, you know what, I'm going to give up like living here, having a shower, gas, electricity? Or was it more like, you know what, rent's due, we got to get the heck out of here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, giving up those basic things really is daunting. But it really, what it does is it really forces you to kind of think more creatively. How can we make this work? How can we get our basic needs met while living on the road and live a good life while doing that? And that comes with time. I mean, it was trial and error, and we were figuring out a lot of things as we went. But just having the courage to try it really allowed us to explore that idea.
How much stuff did you take with you? Know, so it was you two in the front seat, maybe Jack sometimes in the front seat or in the back.
Yeah. There
You had
was
a
He had
safety
the little
wagon.
space.
there was barely enough room for Jack. I mean, so we prioritize things that maybe a lot of people wouldn't prioritize, like our instruments. You
Okay.
know, Tamara had a big drum, I had a guitar, and I even brought some recording equipment along with us. But that was a priority for us because we saw ourselves as street performers, and we saw it as a way to generate income as we went along. Is we could do some performances wherever we were.
Wow. So I just want to get a feeling thing here. When the last time that you put your key in the lock of the house or apartment and you turned it. And what was that feeling like? What happened?
Uh,
It, I mean, it felt liberating, really.
like pure possibility.
We're like, yeah, pure possibility.
like
Absolutely.
stepping into the unknown. I was
Jumping off the precipice like the fool in the tarot
yeah,
is sort of the archetype.
like the zero. We were at zero. We had a sort of a plan of like our first few destinations. Like we were going to
Mhm.
play a street fair first, and then we were going to go to, it was around Halloween, and we were going to go to Montana and visit his friends in Montana.
Where we
And
picked up some gigs,
yeah,
and that helped us kind of like um, get a little bit farther down the road. But then we really realized, and we were, so I just want to say some of the things that we prioritized was camping equipment, because we're in the car, so we can't really sleep in the car. You have to have a place to sleep if you don't have someone that can host you. So camping equipment, tent, sleeping bags, cook stove, the things that would allow us to provide for those needs.
Mhm.
But really, like when we got to Missoula, we realized that the car was not going to work.
mhm.
And
How
so
many
that
months or weeks in was that you decided the car
probably
wasn't going to work?
About 3.5 weeks.
yeah, about 3.5 weeks.
Yeah.
And because we realized if we could just upsize a little bit to like a van, then we could have some space to sleep in the van if we needed to, or if like we weren't able to set up a camp setup,
Mhm.
then that really made it a lot easier.
So
Gotcha.
we had this experience right after we traded in the station wagon and got a Mazda MPV, which is a 4-wheel drive van, and it had all the seats in it and everything. So we didn't have a bed situation in there yet. We could lay all the seats down and kind of lay on there, but it was sort of lumpy. So we went just a little south of Missoula, close to Bozeman, and we were camping in this spot by a hot springs. And we put up our tent and we made dinner, and it was a little windy, but totally bearable. And we went to sleep in the tent. In the middle of the night, Jack just like jumps up and he's like, woof, like he like tells us something's happening. And Terry's like, oh, it was so weird. It was like the tent was like, like it felt like it was like when the whole thing was coming down on us. And Terry was like, Tamara, we have to get out of here right now. Like he was so
a blizzard hit in the middle of the night while we were in Montana.
We were running, like I was running back and forth between the van and the tent, all grabbing stuff. And first, he let Jack out of the tent. Jack just runs out, and I'm like grabbing stuff, and I run back to help him get the tent, and he is like jumping to grab it as it is blowing away, and we stuff it into the van, and all of a sudden it's just a blizzard hits, like snow is coming down so fast that we had to drive to town and get a hotel room, and we were like, we need to go
Yeah.
south, like right now, like we
Yeah.
gotta get out of Montana.
Yeah, so we went through a lot of challenges, but I think what we realized is that the most important skill that you can develop in life is problem solving. You something comes up, it's a problem to solve. Put our heads together, put our minds together, and let's figure this thing out.
That is so excellent. I know I had to live in my car for a little while when I did the LA thing. So I love just talking to you and reminiscing about what was it like to have to be
Yeah.
able to live in the car, right? And there's certain things that you learn, like at night, you either need to be close to some place that's 24/7 if you want to use the bathroom, or you got to have stuff in the car to be able to take care of that. Um, but
Exactly.
what
Yeah.
are the big things that you guys learned, like for people who are going like, oh man, I have no idea what to do, like get a gym
Yeah,
membership?
that's a really great question, because that was our next thought process, is like, well, you need to be able to meet your basic needs.
Mastering the
Mhm.
basics.
And your basics are, you need to be able to cook food, you need to be able to go to the bathroom,
You gotta poop.
you got and you need to be able to shower at least occasionally.
And a
Yeah.
place to lay your body
and
down.
and then a place to lay your body down and sleep. So
Always.
those are the basics. And so focusing on, okay, how can we get those basic needs met was really at the forefront of our mind.
And
Yeah.
through our adventures, it was like we were experimenting all these different compositions of lifestyle. So it was like station wagon to van. Then we built a bed in the van, a bed platform, but I still had to take everything out to cook, right? So it was kind of like, and we didn't have a shower. So
But really, building the bed platform in the van was a game changer because
yeah,
now we have a dedicated sleeping space and
Mhm.
storage underneath.
yeah.
So it helped us organize the things we had, and it helped us have a place to sleep at any moment's notice. Like, say we're driving, it's late, we just want to pull over and go to sleep. That really made a difference.
And the
It
other thing
it
that came up was community. Like we left our connections on the in Oregon and started going across the country. First went to community in Montana. Then we were kind of like relying on, you know, connections outside of our immediate
Mhm.
community. And that was when we realized how important it is to have that support when you're in that kind of a space. So you need to have people that you can, you know, call or rely on when the snowstorm hits, or you can't access water, or you just really need a shower. So being closer to our community, we wound up going all the way to Florida to
Mhm.
Terry's folks and staying there for like most of the winter. I think the whole winter.
I think one of the things that you had mentioned to me, and I love, there's a couple of terms that you use. Is I said it's different being homeless than having a car, and you said you're not homeless, you're
Home
home
free.
free.
Yeah.
Yes, which
Yeah,
I
that
love that.
that was
Hmm.
something that someone else said to me because they were like, "Isn't van life and RV life just glorifying homelessness?" And I was like, "Well, what's interesting is homelessness is when you don't have a choice.
Hmm.
You're stuck with that because your choices are that's all you have. Home free is when you step out of having that security that security is the grandest of all illusions, according to the Buddha. That security of that constant shelter and supply. And you go out into the space of trusting that somehow your needs will still be met
Yeah.
somehow. And that's what we found time and time again. And as a
Mm.
result, all of our energy and time, really our time, became dedicated to making music and feeling creative in the
Mm.
moment in response to what was happening.
Yeah.
It changed our life.
I just want to point out to people who are listening that not having a vehicle and having a vehicle are two completely different experiences.
Very.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you went the from the station wagon to your van. What was the next step?
Oh, then we got a small Toyota RV, like a Class C, which has
Hmm.
like the over the cab bed, and that really upped our game because okay, now we had a kitchen,
Mhm.
now we had a dedicated bed, and we had a bathroom,
And you had room for
and
your equipment.
exactly room for the equipment. And then that really felt like, okay, wow, now we don't have to rely on other people as much. Because that was the thing we realized is like, well, it's great to have that network of people that can allow you to stay at their place for a little while you shower and maybe regroup. But we realized that you want to make sure you don't outstay your welcome.
Mhm.
Right.
Like leave before they want you to leave.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. For real.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's nothing like being kicked out.
Right. So we would be very gentle with the people that would open themselves up to us, open their homes up to us.
And their
We would make sure we
generosity.
would only stay 1, 2, 3 days at the max,
And offer
and then
something in
and then
exchange.
try to offer something in exchange while we were there,
Yeah.
relying on their kindness.
Yeah. Like
And
childcare or cleaning, you know, helping with landscaping or whatever projects they had on their property. We found that that really helped a lot to just offer something in exchange for their the resource of their shelter and
Y-
safety.
y- That is excellent. That is excellent. One thing I just thought of this, but you guys are both performers, musicians,
Hmm.
mm,
dancers. Did you ever think about in exchange for staying there, maybe doing a house concert and inviting
Yeah.
people and then giving people the
yeah,
guests the money part of
Yeah.
Yeah.
maintenance? Have
Yeah.
you done that or no?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
right now you've gone, so you went from the van, which was your next
Mm-hmm.
big step, the Class C. What was your next step after that?
So we did a big jump at that point. We went to the Class A, and that was like basically like a rolling suite. Um, yeah, I
That was
mean
our holiday rambler.
it was a 32-foot Class A RV, which
Oh,
um, we loved when it was parked, but very expensive to operate.
5 to 8 miles per gallon.
whoa.
It was, yeah, and if you're wealthy, not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But for us, we live, on a smaller budget. We're living creatively, on a performer's salary or whatever, whatever we
Yep.
could put together. So we realized that as much as we loved it, it wasn't quite the right fit for us.
We were also using it as a production rig. So like all of our things, like our luscious lounge for festivals and events where we have tents and carpets and pillows and stages and sound system. We were trying to get that through that little RV door, trying to like the funny
Right.
little like and we were like, maybe we have a different configuration that would work better for this.
Yeah.
And that's when Terry started researching. It was funny too because we used to make fun of truck and trailer people, which is
Uh-huh.
really ironic, because like that's that message is like, don't, ever put down someone else's place where they are in life because one day you could be that person.
Uh-huh.
Now we're just like the truck and trailer is the perfect thing for us. So our next
Mm.
step was to, sell the Class A and move into what is a toy hauler, a 28-foot toy hauler, and they're called toy haulers because they have a ramp at the back. So the back wall comes down in order to drive your ATVs and motorcycles and stuff like that into.
Uh-huh.
So the main area is big and open, and
We
it's
don't have ATVs, but it did make it really nice for loading equipment or moving things in and out. And so
Gotcha.
and then plus having the truck basically became a production rig. So we could leave our home, use the truck to do events, load it with equipment, go to the gig, and then return to the RV. So
That's it
it
makes
made it
it
more,
easy, right? You got
yeah,
your main ship and then you got your little sailboat, so you can go off and do your
yeah, like the
things.
shuttle, right?
exactly,
Yep, you
The
got the
little
exactly.
shuttle.
shuttlecraft, you got it all. So
Yep, yep,
so it makes a lot of
definitely.
sense.
And that made it more modular. So that was the thing that we started to realize is that having your setups be modular,
Yeah.
meaning they're interchangeable. That's also what we loved about the toy hauler is that it's not a fixed space.
Yeah.
So you can put a nice couch in there, you can move things around, nothing is fixed. So that was where we kind of really got inspired by this idea of modular setups, things that could be interchangeable.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about this for a second, because they got people who are listening, they're going like, dang, I'd love to do that, but I don't know where to start. Do I start with just like living in the car? Do I go all the way to
Hmm.
the Class A, or do I get the truck and the toy hauler?
I think
Where, if somebody wants
that's
to
a
start, what do they got to
really
think
great
about?
question. Like, think of it like your home is a lot like your base camp, and your vehicle, whether it be a van or a hatchback or a bug or a bicycle,
Mm.
is your shuttle to go exploring with. And you
Oh,
got to go on little missions to adventure and discover what you really need when you are out there
Mm.
going by shuttle, whether it's scooter or whatever. You discover the basics and how to cover the basics,
okay.
and then you think, oh, maybe I don't need a whole house. Maybe I could go with more of a tiny house.
Yeah, I'm definitely an advocate for start small, because I mean you can always move up to those bigger incarnations, but I feel like because we started small, we got to have all those different experiences, and all those different experiences informed us in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, if money is an issue, starting small is also really helpful because you're like, oh, well, I can't really afford a Class A or
Right.
even a truck or trailer. We really had to work our way up to that, and we gradually worked our way up to that through living creatively. But yeah, I mean, starting with the car or the van, I think is the place to start because and starting with um, camping, like learning how to camp,
Sure.
learning how to provide for your own needs in a camping setup because
A few days at a time.
all over the country, you're allowed to camp on national forest land for free for up to 14 days in one place.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
so yeah, so that allows you to really do it very inexpensively.
Mhm.
And I would
Okay.
say like practice it.
Yeah.
Like get in your car, practice just going on a little trip
Look
and
around you, like where are the places around me I can get to within a few hours or a short walk or drive that are
Gotcha.
to make it available to try this.
Mhm.
That makes it so much sense. I've heard people talk about if you're going to move, go try an Airbnb before you move there and then
Mhm.
rent.
Yeah.
But you are
That's a good
so
idea.
right. Because if you wait until it becomes an emergency situation,
Yeah.
now you're in trouble. And
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
okay, so get in your car, pack it up, and say, okay, I'm not doing hotels. I'm not doing anything. I'm taking my clothes. I'm taking my bottle to pee in. I'm taking
Yeah, exactly.
getting a
Yeah.
gym membership so I
Well,
can get a
that's
shower.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
And I
yeah,
would say like we were really into festivals and we did a lot of festivaling.
hmm
And that really kind of helped us hone some of that like providing for our own needs
Mhm.
while we were camping. What do you need? And you mentioned the pee bottle. That is actually a crucial piece of equipment at the festivals because you don't want to necessarily in the middle of the night have to get up,
Try
walk,
to find your shoes.
try to find your shoes and get to a porta potty. You know, you can relieve yourself in the tent.
yes,
And
you can.
actually that was a really good thing.
I
Yeah.
remember when I first heard of that, the pea jar, I was like, wow, genius,
Yeah. And just pro tip, there are different bottles and they make a difference which ones you get.
Yeah, you're right.
They do.
A
Yeah.
bigger opening
Yes.
is
The
helpful.
Coke bottles, not so good. Gatorade's not bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta experiment, right?
You do. You learn these things as you go.
Hmm.
Um, I also found, by the way, just for me, because I was doing my Xterra, having a suitcase was like a no-go, but getting those little milk crates to put things in, much better.
Yeah,
Oh
You know,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
And being able to
Yeah,
see
so
things
see you have experience with this,
and
oh
and
knowledge.
yeah,
that's
Yeah.
being creative.
Hmm.
That's thinking about, okay, how can I make this work for me?
Hmm.
And I can feel a sense of, that I'm living fairly well, even
yes,
though I don't have all of the things that everybody has. We get very, the creature comforts
Hmm.
is what we call them.
mhm,
Having that home with the shower and the kitchen and the couch and the TV, it's hard to want to let those things go because it does make you feel more comfortable. But I feel like when you put yourself outside of your comfort zone,
Hmm.
that's where the growth happens. That's where evolution happens. That's where you really discover more about, you know, what you can do um,
yeah.
creatively.
Hmm.
Here's a big one I want to ask you, and that is for people. You guys were actually in a good position because being an artist myself, people are going like, "Oh, they're artists; they can do cool, fun things like this." But if
Yeah.
someone is at an executive job and they go to the office every day, and their
Mm,
friends are expecting them to be at a certain living lifestyle level, what do you have to
Hmm.
say for those people that are like, "Man, I wish I could try something different, but I just can't because of
mm,
friends, what do they say? What do companions say? What if I want to go on a date? How do I take them on a date? What do you say to
Yeah.
hmm.
those people?
Yeah. I mean, I would say everybody has something to offer.
Hmm.
And what is your passion? What is the thing that you love?
What is your ideal day? What does your ideal day look like? I guarantee it doesn't involve going into the office,
Oh,
you
it does
know?
not.
Yeah, that was the other part of it for us, I think, is we really wanted to find ways to be able to spend more time outside
Hmm.
in nature. And, like those things are free. Like we have, especially where we are, we have a wealth of natural places to explore.
Mhm.
And so really those things are all free. That kind of stuff is accessible for anybody. But yeah,
Yeah.
I would say definitely look look inside yourself. What is the thing that you do without even trying? What is the thing that you would do without even getting paid for it? Because
Oh,
follow your bliss. Look for
Yeah.
that thing that really makes your heart sing, and just go for that.
yeah. That's what
And
our
don't
world needs is more
don't
people
worry
who
about
are
what
fully
everyone else is
alive.
thinking. Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that. So, some words of wisdom. What are you going to tell everybody? I think, Terry, you just nailed it. Go for your
Did.
bliss,
I
right?
really did. That was great.
Canberra, what do you got to say? What are your words of wisdom to people who may want to try this?
Hmm. That your time is yours. And that's the one resource that once we've used it, we can never get it back. It's not, you know, replenishable. So
Yeah.
use your time for you, first. All those other ideas of obligation, those can come down in priority. Put yourself in your dreams. You deserve it
Yeah. I know
first.
there are people watching us right now that have more questions for you, and I want
Mhm.
them to be able to get in touch with you. I think we can find you at Solar Nomads. And by the way, we didn't even get to talk about locally sourced produce, getting rid of plastic, taking your own shopping bags with you, and all these sorts of things. So we are going to definitely have to have you back again to talk about
Oh,
those things. But it's
Aw.
a good start for everybody.
thanks.
So you got
Yeah.
Solar Nomads, and you got your YouTube.com, which is
Mhm.
also Solar Nomads, and you're on Instagram at solar.nomads, and of course
Yeah.
you're on Facebook at Solar Nomad Life. So I have really enjoyed talking with you too. It is
Well, likewise.
I I have to say, in a way, I sometimes miss living in the Xterra. You meet so
Mhm.
many people, you learn so many things. Um,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and you guys have been doing it, what, 17 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's no joke for you guys. Oh my gosh. And Mick had a comment. He says, you
Hi,
two are
Mick.
living the dream. It's such an inspiration to follow your
Oh,
bliss.
thank you,
Follow your
Mick.
bliss.
Love you.
Yeah.
Thanks for your support.
That's excellent. I will definitely find a time that we can have you guys back on. Thank you so much. And
Mhm.
keep on traveling.
Oh, thanks,
Oh,
Michael.
thanks, Michael. It was such a pleasure to get to be here with you.
Mhm.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Bye bye. Until next time.